All right, welcome to part two. I'm Marco. This is on Tesla 2021 earnings call Q1 part two. Um, it was a great quarter, really. It was record deliveries, record revenue in a seasonally weak Q1 quarter, and they beat expectations by a good amount, and it shows a lot of improvement overall. Um, Wall Street maybe had some nitpicking because some of the money came from regulatory credits, or like, oh, it's regulatory credits. You wouldn't be profitable without that. But you know what? Regulatory credits are going to continue to come in for a while. And it's just such a great thing that their competitors are literally having to pay them money because they suck so much that they can't get their crap together to make good electric vehicles. So they have to buy credits. It's a tax on them being so crappy and destroying the environment. They have to pay their competitor Tesla so they could stay in business and keep sucking, I guess, until they're out of business, because Tesla used all this money to grow like crazy, which they have been. This quarter proves it, that they're growing like crazy, over 50% a year, gonna continue to do that for a long time. All kinds of new products coming up, all kinds of new technology coming up, constantly innovating, constantly improving, increasing operating profit, increasing margins, cutting out unnecessary costs, simplifying, reimagining, moving fast, breaking things. That's why Tesla is the company I'm most interested in, and that's why they're going to become the biggest company in the world. There were a couple things that I personally, it's kind of the reality of things sometimes take longer than you originally thought. And when you're doing such new, innovative things, that's kind of like a hazard that you have to accept. Elon tries to be aspirational and force people to move fast to get all these new things done. Recently, me and other people thought maybe that he's lately been being more conservative in what he says and trying to sandbag more, basically, and be like, oh, we're shooting for this, but really when behind the scenes they know that they're already easily going to hit that and go past it. So it's like everyone expects this, and they're like, oh my god, it's so much better. And that's just, a psychological thing with people, and they love it, and that helps, the stock price and all that stuff. But I think Model Y kind of had that effect because it's so similar to the Model 3 that there wasn't many problems for them to run into. Now, they refreshed the Model S and X. That had a little hiccup, a little bit delayed, a little more money than they thought, but that's done, one-time expense for the Model S and X refresh, and they're way better now. They're slightly cheaper to make, Elon said now, even though they're way better. That's amazing. So they're going to have better profit margins on better vehicles. That's a win-win. That's awesome. One-time stock compensation for Elon Musk. He's still going to get more stock compensation as time goes on, but this was a big chunk that the company's doing so well, so it comes out of the bottom line of the company. I don't have like a spreadsheet to show you in front of me. Something like that would be good for. This is kind of like, the things that I noticed. Leave a comment below if you'd like me to have like a spreadsheet up on the screen, or video or something to reference. I need to work on all that stuff a little bit, but I just want to get this info out there. It's hopefully it's helpful for you, and I love to talk about this stuff. So just trying to go with the path of least resistance for now. So there's that. Yeah, the Cybertruck. Don't expect the Cybertruck this year. Sounds like more like a next year thing. Also, the 4680 cells are also delayed. Sort of delayed, like just not faster than we thought. He said like 12 to 18 months from now is the current There's up here. the current kind of timeline. So and that's for volume production, they said. So that makes me think there'd be limited production, earlier. But volume production tends to mean that they're, well along, kind of producing them and in high volume. That's why it's called volume. So yeah, so that it sucks a little bit to hear that, but I think they'll still figure it out, get it done. It's going to take a little bit longer. Same thing with full self-driving. I think it's still going to come out much faster than people think. I'm expecting the first really good full self-driving rides without any interventions. I mean, you could see once the new beta comes out, I think you're going to see, especially as it improves, because once it gets to more people in the bigger beta, that's going to help it improve much faster. The more people it has feeding it, and you saying, no, don't do this, check this part of the data out, and that person's going to look at that or feed it to the neural net, and it's going to fix this one wrong, go back, and it's going to prove that problem won't be there anymore. You have a lot more people all of a sudden in the beta. It's very small right now. You add a bunch more people into the beta, and suddenly it improves a lot faster because it has all this other extra data, valuable data that's really letting it know where the problems are, where it needs to improve, so it can improve quickly. I think that, so this year, definitely you'll bet it could be, I think for sure you'll have full self-driving drives in kind of complex environments, like city driving, like busy areas, lots of crazy shit going on that it would be hard for a person to drive through. And I'm sure that it'll be how common, I don't know for sure, but for sure there will be times where you won't have to take over for the car at all. You'll have whole trips through crazy kind of situations, and the car will be good enough, the neural net will be good enough already by the end of this year to get you through the whole thing from one point to another. Will it get you across the country with no interventions? That's a lot of driving. I don't know if it'll get to that point this year. Kind of depends how many people are using it, and training it makes a big difference with this. So I don't know if that would get here this year. Next year, I think it's going to be more common. More people are going to be using it. The subscription thing will come in. Maybe some rebates will come in, make the cars cheaper. Maybe more people are able to afford this full self-driving package, or they're trying it out on the subscription monthly thing, and they use it for longer drives, so it gets more data. And so next year, I know there's gonna be a ton of improvement on FSD. No way it doesn't. I mean, version 9, Elon's saying, is going to blow our minds when that comes out. And I keep saying 2 weeks. I don't know. Probably a month from now, it'll be out. So the end of end of May, I think the beta will be out. The slightly wider beta with the version 9 that's supposed to be vision only and focus on that will probably be out in a month. And yeah, just the rapid improvement. It's they've got it all set. It's that flywheel where they've got it all set where it's going to improve. It's got to get more data, and it's going to be a faster cycle of improvements, improving. And before people know it, your car is going to be a better driver than you. It just is. It's the abilities it has is superhuman. It just has to be trained up to the point where it knows enough to react the right way to all these strange things that it will run into. But once it does, it's got a bunch of more eyes than you, never gets tired, never has health issues, never is intoxicated by anything, never is distracted, is able to react in milliseconds to something much faster than you can. Because by the time the neural net brain in your skull, you have light coming into your eyeball, and that eyeball, it gets transferred into an electrical signal from the sensors in your eyeball and gets transmitted to your brain, cones and rods, right? And then that gets transmitted to your brain, and then that goes from one neuron, bounces around in your brain. That's your mind thinking, working, and it's going to go, okay, it's this. We have to stop. So then your signal is, you figure that out, then it sends a signal down to your body, down to your brain, spinal cord, out to your arms, your legs. You got to press the brake pedal, you got to swerve. Hopefully you don't overdo it because your adrenaline's shooting. It's like, we got to do this now. Maybe you overdo it, and maybe it's not the best thing to do. That all takes time. It's crazy because it seems like instant to us, but that's measured in milliseconds. And the computer in the Tesla is going to be able to react much faster than that. It's going to have a much shorter path of the... Because, I mean, it's specific for now. It's not like it could do better than us at everything right now. I think, and many people think, eventually artificial intelligence will, and that could make for a crazy future, so we have to be careful. But this is why it's going to be better than us at driving 100%. It's just a matter of how long it takes, and I don't think it's going to take that long. So, yeah, next year it's going to be improving so fast, get so good. You know, there's going to be so many miles driven that Tesla has all this data, all these sensors that they could, you know, they like NHTSA. Elon said that they're pretty good, they're fair, they do a good job of not listening to just the news and politicians maybe, or not or influenced by other companies, don't have the best interest of the public at heart. This is kind of like, you know, they have a little separation, so he thinks that they're probably going to do the right thing. So they're going to have so much data that shows it's so safe that, I mean, especially over a whole year, I mean, you have this, the rest of this whole year that it's going to improve. Next year, it's going to be improving more, faster, with much more people using it. I feel like by the end of next year or sometime in 2023, it's going to be so reliable. It's going to be like a no-brainer that we want this to start taking over for people. So they're gonna, maybe it's just gonna be in a limited space at first, you know, trial. They're gonna do trial runs and say, okay, it's legal for you to do that in this city, and the city signs off on it, type of thing. And are they gonna have like the robotaxi system? Is that gonna be set up right away? Is it gonna be like, okay, so these cars are driving themselves, it's gonna have an account and it's gonna be in your name, and people are, there's going to be an app and they have their credit card info in there, and they say, I want to take a ride, and it comes and picks them up with GPS, and it goes to your account and it charges this much and demand rate, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, and that goes into your account, and Tesla's like, okay, we'll take our cut for doing this, and it's your car, because so then you take your cut, and people can be making money off Teslas. Tesla could also be doing it themselves. We're not sure what kind of mix they're going to have there, because a lot of people think they're going to be making so much money once they're able to have the robo-taxis that it's like it almost doesn't make sense to sell it to people. They should just run it as robo-taxis. But hopefully they're not going to do that, because they need, you know, people want the cars too, so that would suck. Yeah, so FSD, it's crazy times. It's, you know, it really has me thinking about, speaking of investing, you know, the options market, you know, more leverage, more risk, but possibly greater returns. I know the company is going to be doing well, and I know that these things are going to be working so well. It's just like, will like all the big hedge funds, the people who control most of the money, will they have like no choice but to buy Tesla, because they'll be missing out if they don't? So that would then drive the stock price up. It seems like it's not a bad bet to put, like, I wouldn't go all options for sure. It would have to be a small chunk, but for someone super risky, like 20-30%, could be of your money, could be into options, like a long-term option versus stock. Stock is nice though, because you just buy stock whenever you can, in fractional amounts even, and you just let it sit there and you don't worry about it. And I know 100% that's going to do great. That's going to do awesome. If you're chasing even higher returns and more risk, though, it's is it really going to pop before 2023? What's it going to hit? What's a safe strike price to buy? Would it be like 1,000 or 900 or 7? Cause you gotta figure the premium price and the break even as well. So, do you want a break even price of $1,000? Should it be should Tesla be more than $1,000 a share by January, February, March, April, May, like June 2023? I don't know. It's starting to sound pretty reasonable. Maybe if you wait a little bit more. What if you wait like 2 months from now, 6 months from now? Like if you wait 6 months from now and it's a 2-year thing, it's like they're gonna be huge by then. Tesla's gonna be making so much money. It's gonna be insane. But by then, is that going to be more obvious? Is that going to be obvious to everyone? And is it going to be obvious to Wall Street and all these older kind of bureaucratic, don't want to, some of them take insane risks, but they don't think they're going to get bailed out. Is it going to be obvious? And by then it'll be too late. It'll be too expensive and you won't get the same return. So that's something every individual investor has to think about and decide for themselves. I'm all just stock shares right now, and I'm really thinking hard about it, trying to find the right point. Seems like we have a bottom. Once Tesla was in the 500s, it rocketed back up really fast. You had that huge day, like one of the second highest rise in a single day, and then you had some good couple days of drops after earnings. And then once Tesla got below 700 again in the 600s, we saw some strong buying on 430. Was on Thursday or Friday? On Friday, 4:30, which is today, when I'm filming this. So I don't know. That seems to me like there's strong support. And it's not going to fall much lower. If you're looking for a cheaper price to buy in, I don't think it's really coming. Unless something crazy happens in the overall market, and it could, you never know for sure. But just on a technical analysis aspect, that's going to support. So it's you got to make your bets. But for sure, Tesla stock, you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with just buying Tesla stock right now. Like, no way. Yeah, by 2025, Tesla's going to be so huge. They're going to be making so much money, I think. So, yeah, FSD, 2023, by the end of 2023, it's like we could have a robo-taxis everywhere. It could be nuts. Everything, yeah, that could be nuts. I would love it. I'd let it drive me around. That would be great. I don't have a Tesla yet. I want to get one. Hopefully when these new rebates come out from the Biden infrastructure plan, once that gets passed, which I think it should, hopefully without being watered down too much, as long as you got your Kirsten Sinema and your Joe Manchin don't throw too much of a hissy fit about it. And they'll get that through budget reconciliation. But, yeah, for sure. By the end of 2023, FSD is going to be awesome. No one could predict the future for sure, but everything I've seen, I believe it. So anyways, Jesus, I never got to the next question from the call yet. So the next question was from a cool guy called Emmett Peppers. He's on Dave Lee's investing channel, another YouTube channel I really like. Dave Lee's awesome. He's a chill, older gentleman who's really smart and really digs deep on the important parts, and he's a cool guy. So so Emmett is on his channel, and Emmett's done really well with Tesla stock. He worked as a trader for a long time for Interactive Brokers, and bought a lot of options and was playing with options for years that would have these crazy swings and multiple accounts. And he's like, he went from under $1 million to like 30, 40, 50 million dollars he has now. It's like crazy the kind of return he's had. So he's set forever now. He's just looking for stuff to spend his time on that's productive now, I guess, like can invest in small companies or what. But I'd love to get to that point. You know, I hope this is why I'm talking about this. I want us all to get there. So this was to the Master of Coin. Shout out to Game of Thrones and to Tesla and Zach Kirkhorn adopting cool names, titles. So Zach Kirkhorn got the Master of Coin title. Elon got the Techno King title. Pretty cool, Techno King. You know, God Emperor would have been cool too, I think. Dune reference. I was thinking of something else here, but I lost it. Zach Kirkhorn. He's a smart guy. I love how Zach in these kind of earnings calls, he really he kind of goes into this like robotic mode, and he deals well with the institutional investors who like want their spreadsheets and want their numbers thrown at them, and not necessarily, they don't want too much of the big picture stuff. They're like, give me the numbers, like make me feel better, like capital expenditures, like operating margin. And not that it's wrong to look at that stuff, you should, but sometimes there's like too much of a focus on the short term, as long as it's working out, you know, longer term, and it's important to that. So he does a really good job with it. I'm really happy with how he handles it, and I mean, I feel a lot better when he lays it out and it is clear, and he broke it down very well. So this was to him. The next question, Master of Coin. Take a sip before I get into this. So it came out in the earnings call that part of the cash flow that they got for this quarter was because previously they had bought, with some of their cash reserves, they had bought some Bitcoin. Pretty awesome Bitcoin investment. And they're accepting payments in Bitcoin as well. I was just on the website not long ago looking at them, and you could do your down payment in Bitcoin for a Model, 3 or Y or whatever. And I'm not sure if you could pay for the whole thing in Bitcoin yet. I think you can. I mean, it seems kind of, I don't know how that would work tax-wise if you made a lot of money on Bitcoin, and like, I think if you paid for that with Bitcoin, you'd still have to pay taxes on your increases, but people got all kind of crazy things going on with Bitcoin. So they sold 10% of their Bitcoin position, and they made about $100 million, $150 million, something like that. I think worked out to, that was a profit, and they sold like $300 million worth, because like it kind of roughly, Bitcoin kind of roughly doubled from when they bought it. I bought in some as well at that point at like 35,000, I think it was, or that was a little after. Maybe they got in at like 30,000, or even the high 20s. But I wish I went in more. That was like a no-brainer. Once Tesla buys Bitcoin, for sure, it's like going to go up, and it's like I think it's like a new floor. It's like harder for this thing to drop down now. As more people get invested, and then they see a drop towards their break-even points, they're already like, they bought into the system, and if they have cash, they're going to be like, oh, this is cheap, I'm going to buy more. If it falls below what people bought in at, they'll also dollar cost average on the way down to get a better overall price. I really think Bitcoin's here to stay for a good amount of time, and crypto is something you should not ignore. You should have some Bitcoin and some Ethereum for sure. The altcoins get a little intense with all the things that are going on and following all of that. There are some that, are probably worth investing in, but for sure Ethereum is kind of like the software, is how I think of it, that they're inventing all these new things built on Ethereum. And Bitcoin is like that super secure crypto where it's decentralized, can't be hacked, so it's a good place to to store your value, park your money, kind of scarce resource. And it seems like more and more people are trying to get a return by putting their money into that. Zach, the master of coin, got this question about Bitcoin. It might have been I don't know what exactly the question was. It was kind of pertaining to that. It might have been like, what is coming up in crypto for you guys? And I'm going to get to that. He basically explained that Tesla had extra cash, and they're looking for a way that they could get a good return on it, and also have good liquidity, meaning if they wanted to use the money, get the money fairly quickly, they could get it if they needed to. But they're still only using money that they don't really need anytime soon. Maybe they wouldn't even need until like 6 months from now or something like that. Because the bonds have been really low rate of return, even with the recent jump up in the 10-year Treasury yields of like 1%, it's still pretty low, compared to what inflation is right now. Well, everyone knows inflation really is higher than probably what they say. And because stocks and the housing market's going nuts. So this is like, they looked around, they're like, okay, so Bitcoin's probably, we think we can get better returns from Bitcoin, and it still has good liquidity. And this was kind of like a test where they sold 10% of their Bitcoin position. They're like, is the Bitcoin market big enough where it could absorb like a sale like this? It's not going to like send it crashing, And there was like, it was like, no big deal. Yeah, $300 million worth of Bitcoin. No problem, yeah. That didn't make a big difference, apparently. So they're pretty happy with how that worked out. Gives them more confidence. Gives me more confidence. Should give everyone more confidence on Bitcoin. He said that there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic about crypto. Very interesting. They're pleased with the liquidity, and it was more of a test, and they're going to be holding the rest of their position for the long term. Elon also made it a point in a tweet later that I read that he has not sold any of his personal Bitcoin. So I guess he also owns Bitcoin personally. Who knows how much he owns? And he's committed to holding it longer term. It seems like he has faith in it in the future. And Zach, Master of Coin, mentioned that they're constantly discussing things in crypto and thinking of new things. So if they announce something in the future, they'll let us know. They didn't want to do anything now. Could there be something crazy like a Tesla coin? And could they? There's a lot of stuff about this lately about using crypto along with renewable energy, because like to go all renewable, we're going to have to kind of like overbuild the supply of electricity. So some parts of the day, there's going to be way more electricity than we need. And what should we use it for? We should use it for something useful. What if we funnel that money into crypto, supporting a crypto network? And then it's a good use for the electricity because it creates this safe, secure, decentralized kind of like finance network that everyone could benefit from. So, interesting way to think about the changing landscape of electricity generation and crypto going forward. Crypto is like every crypto, for depending on how it's built, whether it's mining or supporting transactions, it runs differently on different hardware. So, I'm thinking, Tesla's got computers in their cars, right? And could they set up a system where they engineer a thing called Tesla Coin, and it's built to run most efficiently on the computers in the Tesla cars? Okay, it's custom designed, so that's the best way to do it, and it sucks on graphics cards, and so people aren't like buying up all the GPUs and trying to do that. Or they could build custom stuff as well, but maybe it would be hard because they don't know exactly how the Tesla thing is built. I mean, they could rip it out, I guess, and try to reverse engineer it. I don't know how easy that is, but if it runs best on the Tesla computers, and they got a deal where like if you have a solar and battery and you have your Tesla parked at home, could you opt in to use your Tesla car to use extra electricity that maybe you wouldn't be getting paid much for, you don't have a good use for it, could be used to support a Tesla coin network, crypto network, and you'd get paid for that. That would be pretty awesome. What a cool opportunity if people can opt into that. Just another way possibly you can make money from Tesla products besides Robotaxi, FSD, and I lost something here. Besides Tesla, FSD, and saving money with having solar panels and a battery. So who knows if that could actually happen? Kind of a crazy idea. I think just kind of popped into my head. If I'm right, then I don't know. Kudos to me. I mean, I don't know. It's cool. We'll see. I'm on record now. I'm on record. It's going to be on the internet, so I can always point to it. Say, I knew it. I figured it out. It was a crazy idea. They made Tesla coin. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, man. This is getting long. Q1 earnings, there's a lot. And I'm just going over the questions and, some other thoughts. I got to space this out more. I'm going to be coming out with more content on this, save my voice and keep the energy level good. Also going to shoot it earlier in the day. It's a lot going on lately. So what was the next question? Next question was about there's been some negative news stories recently in the media, focusing mainly on this Tesla car crash in Texas, where it was kind of a bad crash. And it's interesting. It was in this kind of it's in this very wealthy neighborhood in Texas. I saw the overhead kind of Google Maps photo, and these are like huge houses in this area. And they all have like super long driveways, and it's like on little lakes and stuff, and they have tons of woods around them. This is some pretty rich area. I don't know, ultra rich. I don't know what you would say, but there's like this little private road that this Tesla was on, and it wasn't even that long. And apparently it crashed. I don't know, it was into a tree or what? Probably a tree, and I believe several people died, I believe, and there was, lit on fire. And so before all the facts were in, before much info was all, the TV news, they're all kind of fakes. It's true, they all really are kind of fake news nowadays. I'm not crazy about how that term started, but it's true that they are more about your attention than they are about integrity. And they don't really get called out for it, it seems. And their audiences don't seem to care if they lie or maybe don't follow up, and nothing ever happens to them. Yeah, so they'll just continue to sensationalize things to get more attention, to make more money. So they're saying that it was on autopilot, the car was driving itself, and this is dangerous, and see it's killing people, and meanwhile Teslas are the safest cars on the road. There's tons of data to back this up, that even now autopilot is safer than the average person by like 8 times. And that day alone, there was like over 100 fatal car crashes in the United States. Cars crash every day. People are dying every day. Way more people in other cars than Tesla cars. Gasoline cars light on fire way more easily than Tesla cars. You're more likely to be seriously injured or die if you're in a regular car versus a Tesla car, because Tesla car doesn't have a giant engine in the front that flies in at you and crushes you to death. when you get into a front collision accident, and they have airbags all over, and they have all these cool sensors, and they can figure out like how much you weigh and where you are on the seat, and the airbags will like adjust to that to catch you in the perfect way, and they have emergency braking and all these sensors and the computer and the autopilot and all this stuff. So that's why Teslas are actually the safest cars. But the media is picking this up. They single out this bad Tesla crash and try to blame it on the autopilot. Turns out autopilot wasn't even on. It couldn't have possibly turned on in this type of situation because it's a small private road with no lane markings, and cruise control is the only thing that could have been used. They didn't have full self-driving. They didn't have that option. They weren't in the beta, so they weren't using the full self-driving beta either. And I believe they found out it kind of looks like someone might have been in the front seat and they like escaped, and they're like from a rich family. So they want to have this covered up, and they have the lawyers. This is like something out of what was that HBO series with it had that like media mogul, like Succession, is that what it's called? Really good series on HBO. It's like this rich family, and the father's like scares all the kids, and there's all these kids are like fighting each other, like trying to like move up and like inherit the business, and spoiler alert, you don't know the name yet though, so it's good. But one of the kids, he's I think he gets high on cocaine one night. He has cocaine problems, and he ends up I forget if it's his fault even, but someone else is in the car with them, and the other person dies, and he gets out okay. And then he, goes to his family, and they cover it up and make it seem like he was never there, and he never tells anyone he was there, and they try to make it seem like that person was like a waiter at this party at this fancy house, and that he died on his own. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm just getting like a kind of a vibe like that, because they said the steering wheel was deformed, kind of like someone like rammed into it, and all the seat belts were unbuckled, which maybe they were unbuckled the whole time, because obviously these people, they're on this short road, and they managed to go so fast that the car crashes, and everyone, and several people die inside, and it lights on fire. So who knows what they were doing? If they didn't have their seatbelts buckled, maybe they didn't have them buckled in the first place, but maybe someone did unbuckle them, and they were like checking the bodies, and they were like, so they unbuckled them and shake them, see if they're alive, and then they found out everyone was dead, so they're like, fuck it, and then they ran off. They're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Anyways, it's definitely, got a negative slant from TV news. And so his question was about, should Tesla have like a special department or a job made to help deal with this stuff? Like, should they have a strategy moving forward? Because this is going to be a bigger point of, attention moving forward as FSD gets better and better. I liked it. It came up on Twitter later that, it's better that Tesla doesn't have a PR department, because like if they give a response to this kind of stuff, it just gives like more life. It could just give more life to the story, because the TV news, they already have the angle that they want to play to get more attention. So then they talk about it, try to get as many people into it as they can. And then Tesla PR would like say something in response, and then that gives them the TV news says, they could say, oh, that's BS, something new to talk about. They're like, this is what they said. This was their response. Blah, 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 blah. Instead, and that maybe could give the whole story longer life and it would continue on. Instead, Tesla has no PR department. They don't say anything, ignores it. Story loses attention and just dies down. It's kind of brilliant, really. It's human psychology. It's just when you don't give things as much attention, they kind of fall out of your mind space and you tend to stop thinking about them. And if you're dealing with kind of slanted propaganda type sensationalism seeking, not fact checking stuff in the first place, you're not really doing the wrong thing. Just ignoring it and letting it die out on its own because it's BS and it really doesn't have any legs is the best thing to do. I'm not saying that we should ignore problems, but maybe ignoring lies and not responding to them is maybe that is a good way to go. So yeah, that's kind of what happened. Let's see. So Elon came on right away and he was like, this was the journalists should be ashamed of themselves. They really reported this really badly, and kind of for the reasons I mentioned. So what we got here, it says adaptive cruise control only can engage when the front seat is buckled and the vehicle is above 5 miles per hour. And this I wasn't sure about, if this was like actually they got the data on this or if this is like theoretical. And they mentioned something about accelerating to 30 miles per hour before the crash. That doesn't seem totally right because I don't think the crash could have been that bad if it was only a 30 mile per hour crash. So probably it was a higher speed crash than that. 30 mile per hour crash in a Tesla, like no way, those people are dying. They're walking away without it, probably nothing more than a scratch or a bruise, if that. So it says cruise control, how it works on Tesla. Cruise control disengages and slows to a stop if you unbuckle the front seat belt while it's on. And just reiterating that the wheel was deformed, all the seat belts were unbuckled, autopilot wasn't used, and one of the people on the Tesla call, speaking for Tesla, kind of did seem to imply that they think that there was someone in the passenger seat, not the driver's seat, and that he's gone. And when you get rich and powerful, the rich area, someone rich and powerful, they don't want to get in. They think they can get away with it. Don't want to get in trouble for reckless driving or whatever it would be. I don't know if then the rest of the people came after them, their families of the people who died. That could be a motivation there. Who knows? All right. Oh, moving along. Next question. All right. A little more coffee. I might do a part 3 here actually, because this video is getting longer than I thought. So I'll try to split this up to make it more manageable. And that'll be it. I don't think I'm going to have more steam than that to keep going this particular evening. But I definitely am excited to talk more about this in the future. And I know so far I was considering making a new channel, but my channel mostly has like tech reviews type stuff now. I want to keep it kind of open-ended for now, just try things out. This is the thing I really like. I installed a Nest thermostat recently, and I do want to do a video about that, maybe help people install it, and it is pretty cool. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to keep this on my channel. Already has like 100 subscribers, 106 I think as of the time I'm going to release this video. And I like to get the watch hours and the subscribers up on that so that could be monetized, kind of start to be monetized. Right now, nothing. So hopefully I can get there as soon as possible. Part 3. Probably should have been at the beginning of part 3. I don't know. I'm getting tired. But part 3, we'll say part 3 begins now. Cheers. I'm going to get a refill.